Well, here we are again. This is Unit 4, Part 2. And as you know, we always move to a larger section of listening in the second part of the unit. And our topic is community. We're all in a community of some sort. Some are larger, some are smaller, some of us are in many communities. And so today we're going to be looking at this, and we're going to hear a conversation with people talking about communities. And on this page, we have some pre-listening questions. You will hear a conversation about large and small communities. Before you listen, answer these questions with a partner. Well, perforce, I am your partner. Which photo looks most like your community? Well, we have 3 of them. We have 3 different kinds of communities. We have a village there, you see, out in the countryside. Then we have a smaller place, not a city, it's a town. And here at the bottom, well, that's a pretty busy place. That could be Riyadh, but it's Tokyo. And so we have some city, town, and village. Now, each of you has to decide, which type of community you're in, but I'm sure you realize they're very different. Life is different if you're in a large or small community. And that's the subject of our discussion today. Number 2, size is one difference between a village, a town, and a city. What other differences can you think of? Well, we'll hear about it in our conversation, but I'm sure some of you are thinking already of traffic, noise, interaction among people. Cities are famous for not being friendly, whereas villages, everybody says hello. So we'll be hearing about that in our conversation. Let's move on then to some vocabulary we need in before we do our this. Okay, there we go. I hope that's nice and clear for you now. Previewing vocabulary. You will hear the underlined words below in a conversation. Listen to the underlined words, then write the letter of the correct definition beside each sentence. The first one is smog. Smog is a blend word of smoke and fog. Do you know why the color of the sky is brown? It's the smog from all the cars and factories. Well, that sounds like somebody in Los Angeles or maybe Madrid or someplace like that, which has a lot of smog. As you see, smog, see dirty air. It's a little more specific because smog is specifically dirty air from fumes from auto emissions from automobiles, cars. Number 2, I don't like to take the bus at 5 in the afternoon. It's always crowded with so many people coming home from work. Well, crowded, full of people. And of course, that's one of the things when we compare cities and towns and villages. Of course, a city is much more crowded than these other places. And numbers 3 and 4 go together. Advantage and disadvantage. Winter in Canada is very cold, but there is also an advantage. There are great places to ski. So advantage, you see, is a good thing, a positive point. 4B, disadvantage. Patrick wants to work in the United States. His big disadvantage is that he doesn't speak English. Okay, so advantage, something that is good. Disadvantage, something that isn't. Now you're going to be listening for main ideas. Now I've helped you here. I've already circled the correct answer, but the job was to listen to the conversation. Peter and Kenji just came back from downtown. They're talking to Ming about their trip. As you listen, decide what the main idea of the conversation is, then answer the question below. So please listen to the conversation and see if you agree with the choice of D. Remember, there's Peter and Kenji, the 2 young men, and Ming, who is the female student, okay? Peter. Phew, I'm glad I don't live downtown. The traffic is terrible. I have a headache from all that noise and all the smog. Ming. You think our downtown is bad. Ask Kenji about Tokyo. Kenji. Yeah, Tokyo is noisier and much more crowded. Ming. Yeah, and I hear the smog's worse too. Kenji. That's right. Peter. So I guess you don't miss that, huh? Kenji. Well, I don't miss those things, but a big city like Tokyo can be very exciting. Peter. Yes, I'm sure that's true, but I prefer the peace and quiet of a small town like ours. Kenji. Yeah, I like it here too. The people are friendlier and things are cheaper. Okay, we have to adjust that there. Hope that didn't disturb you. Okay, so back to the small town. Ming says, small towns can be so boring. When I graduate, I want to live in a big city like New York or Chicago. You can make more money there, too. Peter. Yeah, but it's more dangerous there. Ming. Yeah, that's a disadvantage. But there are also lots of advantages. Peter. Like what? The long lines at the bank or in the stores? Ming. Waiting in line doesn't bother me. I really love shopping in the city. You can find anything. Kenji. Great. The next time we need something downtown, we'll send you. All right. Now we look at the choices. A, Kenji and Peter's big city adventure. I don't think so. It wasn't really adventure. No, there's no danger. B, small towns are better than big cities. Well, yes, but we also heard some good things about big cities. It wasn't just one is good. C, why small towns are better. Well, I mean, Ming likes the city. So actually D is the best choice. No place is perfect. There are advantages and there are disadvantages. Huh? On this hand, on the other hand. So that is the decision we come to. Now, we have a note here. This is about vocabulary, so I'd like to point this out to you. You have your note at the side of the page. Many large cities in North America have a busy downtown in the center and a quiet suburb outside the city. So nice word, suburb. You know this car you call a suburban. It's really a suburban because it's supposed to be used outside the city. Huh? The suburb, in Latin, urbs or urbis, is the city. So suburb, outside the city. Okay? So suburban, get used to the word suburban. Huh? City and suburbs, the downtown. It tells us many people prefer to work downtown but to live in the suburbs. These people commute from home to work and back. Commute, they go back and forth every day. I think that's probably true of some people here in Saudi Arabia, but especially true of people in places like London, New York, and Chicago. They may travel an hour, hour and a half, morning and night, going back and forth from their place of work. At the bottom, we see the three people. I was going to say gentlemen, but there is a lady. There's Ming there, and Kenji and Peter, the people who were involved in our conversation. But now let's move on to a different topic. As you remember, one of the things we're moving towards in listening is taking notes. And there are different strategies in taking notes. At the top here, they talk about that. One strategy, especially if they're talking about what's good and bad, is to have a concept map. What's good and bad on either side. And that's what they've done here. It's called a graphic organizer. Graphic, you can look at it and see it. A concept map. And you see on one side, on our left, we have big cities. On our right, we have small towns. Good things, bad things in each case. Now, it would have been easy filling this in while you were listening. And you could do this again. You can listen to the lecture or the conversation again. Let me get this centered for you. If you listen carefully, you'll notice we had these different points. Big cities, what did we hear was good? Well, Ming thought they were exciting. And she thinks you can make money. And she loves to go shopping. We heard about the bad things, about the noise, being crowded, smog, danger, and waiting in lines. So, advantages and disadvantages. In the small towns, we heard some good things, peace and quiet, friendly, cheap, no lines. Bad things, boring, not much shopping, little shopping in a smaller town. So this is an organizational way if you're taking down information about a unit, especially if it's comparing good and bad, putting each on one side. So that is a good tactic. Let's now go to post-listening. Post means after. Post-listening activities. Compare your notes. If you've taken notes, you could compare them using vocabulary. Discuss your answers to the following questions with a partner. Well, obviously that's going to be me. Number one, is there a lot of smog in your community or in the community where you live now? Unlikely. I don't think we have smog here in Saudi Arabia, certainly not if you live in a smaller town. What is your government doing to reduce smog? Well, I don't think we have too much. Maybe some pollution. Number two, name some times and places that are crowded in the city. Well, that is something we do have, and we call them the rush hours. In the morning, everybody going to school and to work, and in the evening coming back, or afternoon. So these would be times when the streets are crowded. How do you feel in a crowded place? Most of us don't feel very happy to be crowded, and so most of us look to have free and open places, especially when we have a holiday. Three, name some advantages and disadvantages of driving to work and taking the subway or the underground. Well, the advantage is it doesn't cost as much. You don't have to watch the road. The disadvantage, you have to follow the schedule. So most everything in life has advantages and disadvantages. As you see, part 3, we move on to getting meaning from context. We've done this a number of times, so I'm not going to go through all of the directions. Remember, context is what occurs around something. And many times we understand, not because of the word itself, but what goes around it. And so in each of these items that we do, in this case there are 4 of them, we listen to the context, usually a small conversation, and you have to judge what the correct answer is. We're interested to see the clues, because those are the things in the context which allowed you to make your decision. So here's the first conversation to choose in a post office, in a bank, or in a gas station. Conversation 1. Next, please. I'd like to cash this. Sure. Don't forget to sign the back. Do you have an account here? Not at this branch. Then I'll have to see your identification. Where are the speakers? Now, as you see, I chose in a bank. You heard account. Do you have an account? She says, not at this branch. Branch. Banks have different branches. Usually wouldn't speak of other places. A restaurant doesn't have a branch. Cash this. Can you cash it? So we assume it's probably a check. So all of these make us choose in a bank. Number 2, conversation. Excuse me, do you stop at 3rd and Highland? Yes, sir. Passengers, please move to the rear. Could you tell me when we get there? Sure, I'll let you know. Where is the speaker? Now we have the choices. On a train, in a taxi, on a bus. The correct choice is on a bus, because the person asks, do you stop? You wouldn't ask a taxi, do you stop? They'll stop wherever you want to, and a train doesn't stop for you. So that's one reason. We also heard him say, everybody move back. Well, that would be maybe on a bus. When it's crowded, everybody moves to the back. But it wouldn't be true on a train. It certainly wouldn't be true in a taxi. Let me know. Again, if it was a taxi, he doesn't have to tell you when you get there. You'll see it when you get there. So all of these make us choose a bus, because a bus operates on a schedule where they stop here and they stop there, so they would let you know when they're at a particular place. Number 3, again, conversation. Can I help you? Yes, I've got 4 shirts here for you and 2 pairs of pants and a jacket. I'm leaving town in a few days, so I'd like to pick them up tomorrow. We can have the pants ready tomorrow, but the shirts won't be back until Wednesday morning. Well, okay, that's all right, but just be sure to take out the coffee stain. Where are the speakers? At a clothing store? At a dry cleaner? At a coffee shop? Now, obviously, it's not going to be a coffee shop, because they're talking about pants, or giving shirts, pants, jacket. He's giving them. If it was a clothing store, he'd be taking them, and he's going to pick them up later. So the best choice is obviously a dry cleaner, where you would take things and you would get them later. Number 4, another conversation. Here you are. Fill out this application and wait over there in line for your eye test. Excuse me, how long might this take? Well, first there's a 15-minute road test, and then you'll have to take a written test. That's another 15 minutes. And then you may have to wait a long time to have your picture taken. What is this young man probably doing? Getting a driver's license? Visiting an eye doctor? Taking a final exam? Well, you heard there was an eye test, a road test, a written test, a photograph. Well, that means it's a driver's license. If it was an eye doctor, you wouldn't be taking road tests and written tests, and a final exam, you wouldn't have an eye test. So the only one that fits there is A, getting a driver's license. And finally, number 5. Excuse me, will this get to New York in 2 days? Only if you send it by express mail. Okay, I guess I'd better do that. All right, anything else? Yes, I'd like a book of stamps, please. Okay, fine, that's $16.60, please. Where are these speakers? At an airport? At a bank? At a post office? The choice is clearly at a post office. He spoke about sending it, express mail, and he bought stamps. The only thing that would fit would be a post office. All right, now we move to part 4. As you remember, part 4 always deals with a task. A task means an application, a job that you use language for. And let's see what our job is going to be today. Using language functions. Expressions for asking for and giving directions. Oh, you know directions? How to get somewhere. Some terms we use when asking. Could you tell me where the post office is? Where is the post office? Do you know how to get to the post office? How do I get to the post office? I'm looking for the post office. I'm trying to find. All of these are ways of requesting directions to get somewhere. The giving directions, we're going to practice those shortly. Go straight. Go straight for 2 blocks on Lenox. Go past the market. Go north. Turn right, turn left, make a right, cross the street. You'll see it on your right. Those are all expressions used in directions. Now, what we're going to be doing now is we have a simple map here, and there are 2 exercises. The first one is already indicated on your map. You see the line going here from the cafe to the tennis courts. Now, they gave you, if you have your book, they gave you the first direction, which is go north. We assume on a map that when you go up, it's the north. The north is to the top, south is to the bottom, east is to the right, and left is the west. So we go north on Lenox Avenue, and then you would tell the person, turn left on Broadway Boulevard, go to the middle of the block. You see, this is the middle of the block, and you will find the tennis courts on your left. So again, go north on Lenox, turn left on Broadway to the middle of the block, tennis courts on your left. That was what we have here at the top of the page now, what you just heard. We just did that. So go north, turn left, go to the middle of the block, tennis courts on left. Now we're going to do one more. Here you have no marker in the map, but now our job is to go from the tennis courts to the movie theater. So we're going this way. And so because we're beginning here, we would say go east. This is east on Broadway to Lenox. Turn right on Lenox Avenue. Go south on Lenox to 4th Street. turn left on 4th Street to the middle of the block, and the movie theater is on your right. Let's look at that now in terms of the go east again on Broadway, turn right on Lenox Avenue to 4th Street, turn left on 4th Street to the middle, and movie theater on the right. So these are directions. The exercise at the end of the unit is very similar. We have a map. We have a lot of things on this map here. I wrote on some of them because they weren't so clear, just to help us. Now, there are different things I could ask you if I gave you something like this. We could ask for directions. At the bottom of the page, they indicate some of them. How do I get from the hospital? How do I get from the hospital? Can you see the hospital there? Where is the hospital? You're going from the hospital to the gas station. Those of you who have the book, you see there the hospital, and we want to go to the gas station. The gas station is up here. So how would we do that? Here we are at the hospital. We'd probably go west on 2nd Street to Washington Boulevard. We turn right up to 1st Street and continue across, and we find the gas station is on our right. So these are directions. Number 1, we just did. Number 2, from the parking lot to the high school. So here's our parking lot, and we want to get to the high school. The high school, I'm sorry, is not so clear, but that's the high school up there. Here we are in the parking lot. Well, what I think I would do would be to go north on Washington Boulevard to 1st Street, turn and continue north, and then turn again to the right and go to the middle of the block to get to the hospital, or high school, sorry. So this is getting directions. Another thing you might be asked is position. I could ask you, and that's why I put these numbers in here, or the letters so you could read them. What is across the street from the hospital? What is across the street from the hospital? You would choose the video arcade. If I asked you what is on the northeast corner of 2nd and Walnut, 2nd, Walnut, northeast corner, that's northeast, so the video arcade. What is located beside, or I should say behind, Hugo's restaurant? You see Hugo's restaurant? Behind it is Dave's Garage. So we're practicing these terms. So if you have any questions, go back to the page where we had them, and that's what we need to practice. Now, our last exercise in this unit has to do with getting directions on the phone. This is another task. You ask for directions, and then you take down the information. You see in the picture below a bus, and you're trying to decide which bus to take. There's somebody deciding which bus. So you call the company, and that's how you get this information. So please listen to this information and decide if you can fill in the missing parts. Conversation. Hello, Metro Bus Company? Yes, hello. I need to get to the airport from Main Street. Main Street and what? Main and Grant. Okay, what time do you have to be at the airport? At 6 o'clock. All right. You'll take bus 33. It leaves at 4:50 at the corner of Main and Grant. Get off at Airport Boulevard. You'll be just 2 blocks from the airport. I'll repeat that one more time. Metro Bus Company. Hello, I need to go to the airport from Main Street. Main Street and what? Main and Grant. Okay, what time do you have to be at the airport? At 6 o'clock. Take bus 33 at 4:50 at the corner of Main and Grant. Get off at Airport Boulevard. That's just 2 blocks from the airport. So notice, From that listening to the conversation, destination, that means where you're going, airport, bus number 33, time 4:50. Now remember we had the teens and tens, so you have to remember 50, not 15, 50. Get on Main and Grant, off Airport Boulevard, and that was the information. Now you hear another conversation. Okay, we're back in business now, okay. Conversation 2. Bus information, Tom speaking. I want to go to Salem. Is there a bus around 9 in the morning? Just a minute. There's one at 8:50, leaving from the Hilton Hotel. I see. What's the fare? $7 one way. How long does it take? About 40 minutes. Thank you. Okay, I'll do it one more time. Bus information, Tom speaking. I want to go to Salem. Is there a bus at around 9 in the morning? Just a minute. There's one at 8:50, leaving from the Hilton Hotel. I see. What's the fare? $7 one way. How long does it take? About 40 minutes. Thank you. All right, you should have got down the destination, Salem. Yeah, I know Salem looks like an Arab name, but it's a city in Oregon in the United States, Salem. Time again, 8:50. Be careful, not 15. Get on, Hilton Hotel. Fare, $sign is there, so $7. Travel time, 40 minutes. Okay, now we'll have our last conversation. Notice destination, bus number, place to get on, and how often bus runs. Conversation 3. Metro Bus Company, may I help you? Yes, how can I get to 1800 Orange Street? From where? From Hollywood Boulevard, Hollywood and Temple. Well, you get on the bus number 102, corner of Hollywood and Temple. Be sure to get off at Madison Avenue and Orange. Then walk 2 blocks north on Orange. How often does the bus run? Now, let's see. Bus 102 runs every 6 minutes. Every 6 minutes? That's great. Thanks. All right, destination, 1800. Again, 18, not 80. 18, 1-800 Orange Street. Bus number was 102. Place to get on, Hollywood and Temple. Bus runs every 6 minutes. All right, that ends our exercises for Unit 4, which was about the community, about advantages, disadvantages of cities and towns, finding your way, different kinds of places, laundry, dry cleaner. I hope you enjoyed the review, or if you learned some new things, I hope you enjoyed learning them. And I look forward to seeing you next time, Unit 5. Thank you.